Okay, so it seems like we are winding down on the conferences. Um, there's not that many left. So, what's up? What's going on? It's Master Wandered here, and welcome to another conference discussion and rating. This time, it'll be Ubisoft's turn, and eh, I wasn't really expecting a whole lot from Ubisoft, so mm, I don't really much know to say about Ubisoft. Like, I still like them. They still make good games, so at least in my opinion. But they get a lot of backlash nowadays, but I'm still supporting them in some way. Um, Much like the other conferences, there really was not a lot that piqued my interest, and it seemed like that for the just the other conferences, not Microsoft and Sony, which I guess kind of makes sense because I remember them always kind of like almost being together at one point. Then they just kind of went and did their own thing. So, alright, so Ubisoft surprisingly opened up with another South Park game, and this one actually caught me off guard because the font that was showing was like, to me it looked like a Lord of the Rings game, like the font of the words. So I was like, are they announcing a Lord of the Rings game? Like, and then I noticed it was the Stick of Truth in a toilet. I thought that was pretty funny. I'm like, oh, okay, now we're getting somewhere. So the next South Park game, South Park: The Fractured Behold. I like that name. I love the name they came up with. It's very funny, and it makes sense. So they say that this South Park game will take place after the Stick of Truth, and it's a new game, and it's with superheroes. Eh, I can respect that. I can see that. And the company actually did say beforehand when they were making Stick of Truth, saying that they were never going to make another video game ever again. And they came out and said, well, we were whining babies, and that they now know how to make a really good video game. So, yeah, I definitely love Stick of Truth. I didn't get to play it, but I did see the whole game through the internet, and I like it. I thought it was funny. I'm a big fan of South Park. I thought it was really good. I hope to pick up South Park: The Fractured But Whole. I'm sorry, but I love the name. It cracks me up every time inside. I didn't catch a release date. I don't know if they announced a release date, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. This next one I am super hyped for because this one looks really cool and right up my alley when it comes to character selection. For Honor. Now this one. Ooh, now, ooh, like, I have no words. I have no words for this. They show, I guess, very fast a cinematic trailer for this game, and after the trailer's done, they go off and talk about it. Like, have you ever dreamt of being a knight, a samurai, or a Viking, perhaps? Kind of deal like that. And those are the three types of characters you can play in this game. They showed off a 4 versus 4 player multiplayer as a tease for the game. After they got kind of done talking a little bit about it, um, from right from the get-go, you can definitely tell. It seems like you could probably play this with AI because immediately once the match had started, all the characters that we were seeing in the Knights version, so we were seeing it from everyone that was playing as a knight. So they rushed out of their gate, and immediately you could see controlled AI. It was very obvious. They started killing a bit, and then the next thing that happens is the other team starts coming in. It's the samurais. I have to say the way that the duels work against other players is impressive. I believe they said that the way that you can control your movements is with the right stick. So if your opponent attacks up, then you would have to push kind of the stick up or down, depending on if it's inverted or not. That your character will block up or side to side or down or even in the middle, and that's what it seems like. And the way that you kill your enemy is very brutal because the match had ended like it was um, where he moved his sword to the side, hit him right by his shoulder, then cut across right off of his head. But then there were some times where he actually took the sword, turned it around, had the hilt slam into his head, I believe, and it was very, very brutal. And I've never seen anybody use that as a sword tactic. That was very, very cool. That was ingenious. I love what they did there. I think they mentioned a story mode or some other modes, like in interviews, but I don't know. I hope that there is, and I hope you can play this offline because this game looks pretty cool. And knowing me, I probably play as a knight or a samurai. I'm not very much on a Viking scale, but I do respect Vikings, but I'm more of a knight person, if you know what I mean. But I'm very excited for For Honor. I want more of it. Next game, I want this game. I want this game. This next game, The Division. What can I say about it? It looks really cool. I love every time that The Division comes out on stage, whether it be just randomly appears on the internet or over a conference or an expo, wherever it is, I keep liking this game. It looks really cool. And the thing that they showed here was kind of the dark zone, which is kind of, I believe they described it as like a place where almost anything could happen. Very restricted, radiation, and definitely I did like this, but I hope that this is not used a lot because this could really make me mad. That you can betray a lot of people in this game. That if you meet another group, there's two ways that it could go down. They could be hostile against you, or they could play along and help you out on the road. And when they were about to evacuate at the very end of the demo, that the guy was saying to his group, it's like, well, maybe I wonder what kind of loot they have. Maybe we should kill them and take it. And his team was going back and forth, kind of deciding, and they ended up killing them. But this, I did not expect this, and this was a very douche move. The guy that was kind of hosting the demo, kind of in the third-person view, he drops I forget what they call it, a guided sensor grenade-ish kind of thing, and kills one of his teammates, drops them, but they didn't notice it was him. So he was like, oh, pick him up, pick him up. He doesn't pick him up. He shoots his other person. He leaves the group beforehand, and he becomes a rogue agent. Kills both teammates, makes off with the loot, and runs off, and the demo ends. I hope this is not used throughout the game when it comes out, because then that would pretty much be kind of bad. Like I hope a lot of people don't do this when the game is coming out, because that should be kind of a douche move. Now, I'm not saying completely you don't have to do this, but I'm saying I hope just not a whole lot of people do it. I'm just hoping, because then that would just kind of make the game unfun. They did give a release date. Now that was something. It comes out March 3rd, 2016. So, pretty reasonable. I think I might be in school around that time. I'm trying to think. It might be during summer of that time period, but right now I'm kind of out there right now, so I can't really recall my dates right now. um, but yeah, I am looking forward to The Division. The next game is Rainbow Six Siege. There's not a whole lot I can say about Rainbow Six Siege. It looks cool. It's definitely something I could play for like a good while. It looks very good as graphic wise. It does look like you can play very, very well. And if you know a lot of people who play on your team, you could have even more fun with this. And I believe they announced Terra Hunt, which I believe is probably the game mode that they had from a previous title. I've never played a Rainbow Six game, so but I would like to know more about Rainbow Six Siege and see more about it. And this is the last game that I have on here, and then I will get on to my rating. The last game they showed out, and it was a surprise. It was Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. I've never played a Ghost Recon game. I have seen Ghost Recon Future Soldier. My friend has a copy of Future Soldier, and I've seen Ghost Recon, and it looks really good. Definitely if you're playing with a team of people you know, and this seems like the same kind of idea. You can go stealthy, you can go loud, you can go ambush the whatever you're doing, whether it be taking out this one guy or taking out a group of enemies. I always did like games where where you can choose what to do. Like say if it's better to go stealthy, then it's better to go stealthy. If you want to ambush the people you are trying to attack, then you ambush. It makes sense like that, and it does bring a realism factor because you could decide on what to do in a real life situation like that. So Wildlands, I'll check more about it, and if it's on a console that I can get, I'll get it. I'll check it out. And then the rating. Now, a lot of people could disagree with me on this rating, but this is just mainly because a lot of the games were some of the games that I personally wanted to see there on the floor, and then it just be a complete bust. So the rating I gave them was a D+. It's a little bit higher than Square Enix, but like the only reason I gave them that rating is because, like, say Assassin's Creed Syndicate, I wanted to see more on Syndicate, but all they showed was a cinematic trailer, and that's it. Why? You could have just easily released that on like a regular day. Like, they've done that before. Like, every company has done that before. Like a regular random cinematic trailer out of the blue or scheduled to release on that certain day kind of deal. But why? Why show it on the floor if you're not really going to show us a whole lot about it? That's one thing I really don't get. And I can kind of understand if it's advertising the game a little bit, but if you're not going to show much on the floor, just don't show it at all. Like, I'm just saying that for future reference. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I did forget about one thing about my Square Enix conference. Why were you advertising for Final Fantasy 15 if 15 was not even shown at Square Enix? Like, I'm just saying that because I left that out in my Square Enix video. Why was it even shown off there? Like, same thing with Life is Strange. Why? Like, why are you advertising if you're not even going to talk about it? Like, I don't get these things sometimes. I really don't. So, I'm just saying. I'm just really saying about that. But that's it for Ubisoft. Next up will be Bethesda, and then EA, and then we'll be closing out E3 this year. And yeah, pretty much I'll be done with this, and I can move on to a bunch of other stuff. So until the next one, I'm S100, signing out till next time. See you, everybody. Have a great day.